Hello, welcome back to Becoming Her, a weekly personal growth update with me, Clarissa, the CEO and founder of She Rocks at College. If you are new to my YouTube channel, I'm an academic life coach. I own an academic life coaching company I have for the past 6 years. And on Tuesdays at 2 p.m., I do this series that's called Becoming Her. And it's basically where I share with you in real time what it looks like to be on the path to achieving your goals. So normally when you hear someone do amazing things in their life, when you hear someone accomplish incredible things in their life, you hear about the before and you hear about the after. You don't get to see the messy middle, the mindset work that they had to do to get here, the personal development work that they had to do to get here, the ups, the downs, the emotions of everything. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we're on week 8 of me doing these updates. So we've been doing it for a solid 2 months, going strong. Hi, Laura. And today, the focus of what I'm going to be sharing is choosing me. So the goal that I'm working towards, which I'm calling the becoming goal, and the reason why I call it the becoming goal is because the goal isn't to be hyper-focused and attached to hitting the goal. It's about doing the mindset, the decision-making work, the self-concept work, the belief work, the self-confidence work, the boundary work that needs to be done to be the type of person who can actually achieve that goal. I'm more interested in what I learn about myself, the things that I overcome, who I become in the process of trying to reach this goal, because I know the goal in and of itself is inevitable. I'm not attached to the timeline. I know that it's going to happen. But the becoming goal that I'm currently working on is hitting $100,000 in my life coaching business in a 12-month period. I've said this many times before. I've made multiple 6 figures in this business in the past 6 years. I've never had a 100K year, meaning I haven't made 100K through the business alone, because before this year, I was doing this part-time alongside being a labor and delivery registered nurse. And so combined, I've made 6 figures in a year, but I haven't done it solely through the academic life coaching company. And so that's my becoming goal right now. And with that goal, I also have alongside it the desire to work with 100 students in a 12-month period. The most I think I've worked with students in a year has been anywhere between 50 to 60 students over the course of a 12-month period. My desire is to double that to 100 students. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to share where I'm at with each of these goals. So I pulled up all of my profit and loss statements and things like that so that I can actually get you real numbers. And so on the path to hitting 100K, and we have a month left, 31 days left in the year, I'm at $55,081.25, which is about what I made all of last year. So I still have 30 days to hit the goal of 100K in 12 months. And I just want to see percentage-wise how close that puts me to hitting the goal. So 55,081 divided by 100,000 times 100. So that's 55% towards hitting the goal. And then as far as the goal goes with the number of students that I've worked with in a 12-month period, for the year, I'm at 27 out of 100. So that is 27% towards my goal. And that's where I stand. So now what I'm looking at is what's working, or what has worked in the past, what's not working, or what hasn't worked in the past, and what I'm doing differently moving forward. The thing that I have been focused on the most right now has been 1,000% my mindset. I have a pattern. My trauma response is to go into hyperactivity mode. What that means is when I am in a fight or flight state, or where I feel like things aren't working, one of the things that I do, hi Marieli, is that I tend to go into fix-it mode. So I'm like, what do I need to do? What do I need to fix? What do I need to focus on? What can I do? And that is how I approach typically not meeting my goals. I go into panic mode and I'm like, oh my God, I'm nowhere near. And I make it mean a bunch of things. And then immediately what I want to do is I want to go and fix it. 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 The things I'm doing differently because of the year and actually 15 months or plus more, so almost a year and a half that I've done of trauma work, I'm hyper aware of my patterns at this point. And I know what to do to stop spiraling. I know what to do to not be in the fight or flight mode. I know what to do to regulate my nervous system. And because of that, I'm not doing what my typical pattern is, which is to go into fix-it mode, to go into self-blame mode, to go into worthiness issues mode. I know that the numbers are just the numbers are just facts. It's just data that I can use to make tweaks moving forward. And so I've been doing a lot of mindset work, a lot of worthiness work over the past 8 months. What's super interesting is if you ever work with me one-on-one, I have like this rough outline of the process that I take students through, and I just want to talk to you quickly about that. So I call it my Becoming Brilliant plan that I give to students. In month 1, the focus is all about redefining brilliance. This is about creating your future self concept. So it's all about reshaping your identity from the ground up so that it aligns more with your truth, with who you actually are. It's about finding power in your past, finding power in your story. And it's the first step that I think everybody needs to make when they're on their path to achieving their goals. And I say typically we're going to spend about a month doing that type of work, but that month time frame isn't a hard and fast rule. For some students, we might move through that process really quickly. For other students, it might take us a couple months. This is where I have been the past 8 weeks. So it has taken me about 8 weeks to really uncover and pull off all of the layers, all of the conditioning that I had, all the expectations that I had around who I needed to be, what achieving this goal needed to look like, how fast I needed to move, what it meant about me, etc. And I basically had to deconstruct all of the beliefs that I thought that I had and that I attached to hitting this 100K. So I made it mean a lot. I'm getting really hot in this room. I made it mean a lot at the beginning of the year. Like my whole self-worth was wrapped around this whole 6-figure academic life coach. I'm completely detached from that. At this point, it is just a number. At this point, that would be fun to hit. But I used to have a really big attachment to it, meaning that I was good enough as an academic life coach, that I was going to succeed, that I made it. And now I see it for what it truly is. It's just a number. And if I wanted to make it mean anything, I'm going to make it mean that it represents the number of students' lives that I've impacted and helped change. But there is no more self-worth attached to it. I am the life coach for college students, whether or not I hit that goal. I truly believe that. This is the work that I've been doing over the past 8 weeks. There's also been a lot of deconditioning that I had to do around the type of wife that I am and the expectations that my husband has of me and the type of mom that I have and what I made it mean and the way that I was showing up. And I've had a lot of things feel like are just shattering in my world. I feel like I've hit rock bottom, and for the first time since graduating with honors after being told to my face that I would never make it and that I wasn't smart enough, the funny thing is that same situation is being mirrored in my life right now. I spent the first 3 years of my college, 4 years, like my whole first degree, trying to avoid having someone tell me what I already believed about myself, which is that I wasn't smart enough, that I wasn't supposed to be there, that I wouldn't make it in the medical field. And so I spent 4 years trying to avoid disappointment. Even though the entire 4 years that I was in college during that first degree, all I felt was disappointment, but I was numbing it through avoidance, through procrastination, through, trying to do better. And every year, every semester, I would say it was going to be different. And I tried to action my way into believing that I was smart, even though I didn't actually have that belief. And I was just feeling super disappointed in myself. I had that experience once before, and I walked myself and I raised my self-worth, and I'm at a place now where I believe that I'm smart enough and I'm capable enough and all of that. Well, this came up again in my life recently, both in my relationship with my husband and in my relationship with my business. Not around being smart enough, but I for a long time was trying to avoid or I had a fear that my husband viewed me in a certain way, that I wasn't good enough for him, or that I would be a disappointment, that like I wouldn't be what he desired, because I have this desire to have this really big business and to make a lot of money and to just be this like CEO and this woman in charge. And I always had this feeling that my husband would grow to resent me and resent the business and resent my ambition and my desires and how big I want to go. And those are also qualities that he loves about me and that he's attracted to. But I always had this fear that I would get too successful, that I would get too big, and he would then come to resent me in the business. Well, some things have transpired in the business in and of itself that have caused him to actually reflect and mirror those fears that I've had. And I've had to like sit with that, and I've had to like listen to his side of things and his perspective. And let me tell you, like it is hard when someone is speaking and mirroring things that you secretly believe about yourself. And so these past 3 months have been really hard. I have cried a lot. You guys have seen me cry on these updates almost like every single week. I've been moving and processing a lot of hard shit. And I didn't realize how much I made other people's experience of me be more real than my own experience of myself. That I made other people's thoughts about me more real than the thoughts I had about myself. And so there was this sort of codependency happening, codependent thinking. And I was starting to feel like I didn't know what was mine anymore and what was his. I didn't know what was real and what wasn't for me in terms of like my self-concept, what I really believed about myself. And so I've been doing a lot of work around that. And the retreat that I went on a couple weeks ago at this point now really gave me the space that I needed to kind of be in my own energy and to be with my own thoughts. And I'm now able to see and separate the thoughts and the beliefs that my husband has about the business, about me, about expectations in motherhood and in wifehood and things like that, from what my beliefs are about myself, and my beliefs are, and what my beliefs are about myself in business, and my beliefs about myself as a woman who owns a business and a mom, and my beliefs about myself about a woman who owns a business and is in marriage, and the types of desires that I have and the types of relationship it is that I want and I desire. And I entirely see my husband's perspective of it. I have so much compassion for where he's coming from, because everything that he wants and he desires for me is coming from a place of wanting to see me happy. And this has been my hardest year in business, the hardest year that I've had as an academic life coach, like so freaking hard. And I think my husband saw that, and he saw how much I was like beating myself up, and he saw how much I was like really in the self-doubt, and how much I was feeling unhappy, that I was feeling more unhappy than I was feeling happy. And he just desires for me to be happy. And so he's like, if this business isn't making you happy and you're stressing about it and you're having all these thoughts about it and all of this, why don't you just either choose to just be a stay-at-home mom and let the business go, or go back to nursing full-time? And I made that mean that he thought that I couldn't be successful in business. And I wanted so bad for him to validate me and to believe in me and to have the vision it is that I have for the business. I wanted him to believe in it so that I could believe in it. I wanted him to have the vision so that I could be more firm and grounded in my business. I was waiting for him to choose me so that I could then give myself permission to choose me. And what happened as a result of the retreat was that I realized I don't want to go back to being a nurse. And I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. What I want is to do what I'm doing right now. I love being an academic life coach. I love teaching about this crap. I love coaching my students through this crap. I live for this. I freaking love it. I would do it even if I didn't earn money from it, but I'm going to. And I am, right? I love it that much. I'm obsessed with it in a healthy way. I'm not stopping, Laura. I've had thoughts about it, but I'm not. I've entertained it, right? Because this is what happens when you're in the pit of despair. You contemplate quitting. You contemplate whether it's worth it. You contemplate what if, right? And I always come back to my truth. And so I've had to sit with a lot of uncomfortable things over the past 8 weeks. And I have cried harder, and I have let myself feel the disappointment. I've never cried so deeply in my life as I have in the past 8 weeks, because all of the things that I was afraid of happened. And I didn't try to run from it. I didn't try to buffer the emotion of it. I just let myself feel sad, which is what disappointment is. It's a deep sadness that what you expected didn't happen, or your worst fears happen, right? The opposite of what it is that you wanted happen. And what has come out of that, letting myself fully feel it, and to be in it for 8 weeks, it was actually almost 12 weeks, because it started about 3 months ago, the initial conversation that my husband and I had. And for a week, I was just like crying, and I couldn't get myself out of the pit of despair. But I have been in it for about 3 months, and it felt like it was never going to end. And I'm not going to say that I'm 1,000% through it, but I can see that the pit of despair is ending. I could see that light at the end of the tunnel. I can see that there's just a little bit more that I need to work through. But I'm right there. I'm right there. And what's going to make the difference on whether or not I stay here for a really long time, or I move into what I call the self-confidence climb, is going to be me choosing myself. Because I didn't realize how much weight I was putting on what my husband thought about the success of my business, or even what students thought about the success of. I didn't know how much value I was placing on other people's thoughts and opinions about the academic life coaching company it is that I was sitting there waiting for the students to choose me, wanting to work with me, and me hitting a certain number before I would say, okay, now I'm choosing me. Now I'm the academic life coach. And I've been waiting for my husband to have the same level of belief and all of that for the business, so then I could be even more firm and yes, this is what I want to do 1,000%. And really what is happening when I'm doing the thought work, I'm working the models and all of that, is I'm waiting for me to choose me. That's really what it comes down to. And I wasn't choosing me. And that's why it felt so bad, was because I wasn't choosing me. And I was putting the responsibility on everyone else, the business, the students, my husband, to choose me before I would give myself permission to choose me. That's codependency. That's enmeshment. That's faulty ground. It's not solid ground to stand in. So for the past 3 months, I've been looking at all of the ways that I've been doing that. And this retreat and these past 2 weeks, I really see it. I really see the roots of the issue. I have stripped myself of everything that is not of me, that is not my brilliance coming from within. Sometimes I describe it as like having experiences be like mud, where our core is this shining, bright, brilliant being. But we have life experiences, we have conversations, people say things to us, and those things cover us like mud. And all we can see is the yuck. And all we can see is the dirt. And all we can see is that we're yucky and we're messy. And we forget that underneath all of that is who we actually are. Our true power, our true essence, my brilliance. And this is why in my work with students, I call it the Becoming Brilliant Plan. And I mentioned this last week, but this becoming process is not really a becoming process. It's a rediscovery process. It's a rediscovering of your brilliance. It's a rediscovering of your capability. It's a rediscovering that you've always been worthy enough, that you've always been smart enough. It's just that we've made our past mean more and hold more weight and more potential than our future. And I've been in that mess myself, right? And I probably will be in it again as I work through other things in my life and have other goals in my life. This is just what I'm currently navigating right now. And so it's so clear to me, and I'm choosing me. So this is where we move out of, right? Because the process that I take students through when you work with me one-on-one is a four phase process. So I talked about phase 1, which is all about redefining brilliance, and it's about creating your future self concept. I'm hyper clear about who this future version of me is, and I feel myself fully stepping into her power. The image of her is so bright now that I cannot deny that she exists and that she's in with. It's almost as though these 8 weeks I have been in the process of becoming her, and now I'm being her, right? And so the second phase is what I call the focus phase. This is all about the second month's focus when you work with me one-on-one is owning your brilliance, getting clear on the process of becoming her. So this is where I currently am in this process. So like, again, I have like, month 1's focus is going to be this, month 2's focus is going to be this, but we might spend 3 months in phase 1. We might spend a month in phase 1. We might, like, it's just a guideline. I've been in phase 1 for the past 3 months. And now is when I feel like I'm moving in to phase 2, which is really truly owning my brilliance. Now that I know what's really mine, now that I remember my true essence, now that I've remembered my own brilliance, I need to make sure that I protect that. That's what this phase is about. It's creating a boundary, planting myself firm in my power, really rooting myself into it, making sure that I stay hyper focused on it, really rooted like a tree trunk. Wind, gusts, rain, storm, tornado, whatever can come at me right now, and I'm not going to waver in who I know that I am. I mean, I might kind of go to the side, but I'm going to come right back to center. So this process is all about setting loving boundaries and fully stepping into queen power. A queen is focused. She loves her people. She sees the value in her people. But she's still the queen. She still has guards. She still has boundaries. She knows at the end of the day, she rules. It is her kingdom. And if things are happening in it that she doesn't like, it's because she allowed it. So this phase that I'm moving into in this process of becoming her is really knowing the things that I need to focus on. And for me right now, it's my health protocol. So when I noticed that when my self-belief was down here, this also happened. This is also what happened to me taking care of myself. And it was gradual. I didn't notice that it was happening. But I weigh right now more than I have ever weighed in my life. I love my body because she allows me to take care of my baby. I don't have any hate towards it at all. But I desire something different. And I noticed that the weight was really tied to this whole self-worth thing that I had been working on for the past 3 months. And so one of the ways that I'm creating a boundary, a loving boundary for myself, is through taking care, immaculate care of my body. Immaculate care of my body. My body has been fighting me for about 15 months. The worst allergies I've ever had in my life. I've had to take several days off of like being able to work with students. I've had to cancel things. I had to move things around because I get these sneezing fits. And it feels like my body is trying to expel a foreign object with all its might and force, and I will sneeze the entire day and I'm not able to function. I have to pop like so many Benadryl, so I'm like sleepy and all of that kind of stuff because it's the only thing that will touch it. Like my body has been fighting me because I haven't been taking care of it. I've been eating like shit. And so I did 30 days of a protocol, give myself a couple weeks off, and I'm right back on it because I noticed that when I was following the protocol, it was easier for me to regulate my nervous system. It was easier for me to navigate my emotions. I was happier. I actually felt rested. I felt more clear because I wasn't popping Benadryl every single day. Even when I didn't get sleep because Adelina, sleep has never been good. I felt like I was able to function. And so for me, the boundary that I'm setting is making sure that I stick to my protocol, my health protocol of working out and my eating protocol. When it comes to the actual business, when we're talking about the business goals it is that I have, it's business as usual, and it's making sure that my belief is top notch. So it's reminding my brain about what I already know to be true, which is that I do have value to offer, that I have the best program out there for college students, that I'm the academic life coach for college students, that the students who are meant to work with me know they're meant to work with me. They know it. I don't need to convince them. I don't need to anything. They know it. They know it. They know it. And what I did recently is I actually went through every single testimonial that I have, every single email, and I looked for my best students. And my best students are the students who choose me, who choose to work with me. So that's every single one of you who's chosen to work with me. And I listened to the reasons why they decided to work with me. And I listened, hi Ebony, and I listened to the reason why they love the program. And I listened to them stand in their power. The students who choose to work with me, their narrative, their self-concept, their self-belief, their mindset is just in a different place than the students who at this point haven't chosen to work with me. And so where my focus is going to be is in speaking to my best students. The students who already know that this is exactly what it is that they need. I'm speaking to the queen in them. I'm speaking to the brilliance in them. I'm putting my focus on where I desire to go, not where I currently am, not where I used to be, but my focus is over here because all potentials exist. Okay, if you believe in multiverses and that kind of stuff, like there's a version of me out there who chose to quit the business and is like working as a nurse somewhere in another universe. There is a version of me that exists who's a multimillionaire with this huge academic life coaching company where she has other coaches trained under. That's also a possibility. What determines which one of those potentials activates and becomes my reality is going to be where I put my focus and attention. And so the boundary that I'm setting with my mind is I'm not letting myself go to the past. I'm not letting myself focus on the present. We're just focused on where we're going. That's the only reality that exists. So for the past 6 days, I got a new journal and everything. I have been every morning just writing down, focusing on that. How I'm going to feel when it happens. What's going to be possible when it happens. The emotions that I'm going to feel. The emotions that my students are going to feel. The things that we're going to create together. That's where my focus has been going. It's not to say that I don't have thoughts that go against that. It's just when I notice my mind going there, I ask myself, do I want to entertain this? Because this is also a possibility. It could suck. I could never work with another student in my life. The business could entirely crumble. Like I could become a nobody. Like that could also happen. But does it feel good to think that? Is that where I want to put my attention? Is that where I want to put my focus? I've been asking myself that. I'm like, no, it feels so much more fun to play over here, to be in this energy. Doesn't mean that I ignore what's happening in my current reality. I am with what is. I am present in what is. I am appreciative of what is. I see the value in the now while I'm standing on the edge of more. That's the energy that I'm playing in right now. The other energy that I'm playing in is I'm really working on this people-pleasing thing. And I'm really working on this codependency thing. Because for me, the way that codependency shows up is actually codependency of thought. I actually look for other people to validate me in their belief of me before I decide what I think. And now what I'm starting to do is I'm asking myself, what do I think? What is true for me? And I'm weighing it against what it is. I'm actually doing the work of like separating their thoughts, their models, their stories from mine. And doing that work. Because that is real for them and that's what they're choosing to believe. And what's been happening is that I have just automatically been opting into their belief. I call it swimming in my students' pool. I'm like, I'm gonna, like, if you're having a negative thought, I'm just gonna jump in with you. Like, I'm like, that's like what people do sometimes. Like, I'm just gonna jump in. I can't do that as a coach. I can't be in the pool with you. Okay, I got to be the lifeguard out here, helping you from drowning, right? But what's been happening is I've been jumping in other. Sorry, that's an alarm. I've been jumping in everybody else's pool. I've been putting on everybody else's stories of me and just accepting it as reality. Like, this is just the way that it is. I guess I agree with that. I guess that's true. I guess that's who I am. I guess that's what's for me. I guess that's the way I'm supposed to be. Instead of asking myself, do I agree with that? Are there parts of that that could be true and that I might want to change? Are there parts of that could be true that I don't have a desire to change? Is that something that I can accept? Is that something that I want to challenge? Is that something that I even believe? So I've been doing that work as well. So again, I'm in the second phase of what I move students through when you work with me one-on-one, which is really getting clear on the process of becoming her. If we're actually going to be her, because we've already, like I told you, I'm moving from the place of becoming her to the place of actually being her, showing up as her. These are the boundaries and the things that version of me would do. It took me almost 3 months of deconditioning, of shedding old beliefs that I had. It was the most painful thing I've ever been through in my life since that whole failing out of 7 classes and graduating with honors. Like, this has been really hard. And I didn't think I was going to make it through. Y'all, did not. I didn't think it was ever going to get better. I'm going to cry until I die. This is so painful. This hurts so bad. I'm so sad. But I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see the shifts happening. I feel different. I can't quite explain it, but I feel different. And so if I'm going to be her, this is where I really need to put my focus. And I'm going to slip. And I got to catch myself when I'm slipping. And I got to remind myself of who I am. This process, you can't rush through. You got to take it day by day. Every day I just have to choose different than my pattern. Every day I have to stay conscious. Every day I have to stay conscious. I have to stay aware. I have to notice. I have to be with myself. I have to be present. I have to be in my body, because if I'm not, if I go unconscious, if I try to buffer, if I try to escape, I'm going to default to old thinking, old patterns, and it's just going to create more of the same. This is a practice. It's going to take a lot of work. And my students who work with me one-on-one, when you're here, it feels like nothing is working. Trust me, I know. It feels like nothing's changing. It feels like everything is moving as slow as freaking molasses. But I want you to know that things are changing. That things are shifting. But you got to put your focus there. You got to see the progress that you're making, right? You got to give yourself the credit for all of the things. Like, you're able to catch yourself in a thought and have a different one. That's progress. When before you would have just spiraled out in it, right? Before, I just believed it all. Thought it was all true. I'm like swimming in that pool, so happy. And that pool was yucky and disgusting. And I'm just like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I was miserable though. My skin was falling off with the yucky water. And it's like I've woken up and I'm like, oh, this is what I've been swimming in. Oh, my skin. Oh, what is happening? I want out. Someone throw me a life vest thingy. I want out. This ain't it. No. I was meant for more. Someone come get me. I'm gonna get myself. Choose myself. I'm gonna swim my little butt over to the stairs and get myself out of this yucky ass pool. It's disgusting. I don't wanna be here no more. But when you're in it, you're in it. And there's nothing you can do but be in it and be conscious and be aware and to be kind and let yourself feel the things. And I felt the things. I felt them. It was so hard. It was so painful. There were days where I was just like, don't want to keep going on like this because I do not. Like, your mind goes there. You contemplate. I'm like, is this what life is? Because I don't want to do this no more. If this is what's going to be like for the next 30 years, I don't. No. Don't want it. Don't want it. But you get through it. And I know that you always get through it, which is why I'm just like, all right, I'm going to just feel it. I'm going to stop fighting it and resisting it. I'm just going to allow it to be here for as long as it needs to be here. And it hurt a lot. But I am like on the other side now. When I get through this, hopefully where I will be moving into, like the next phase is embodying your brilliance. So this is all about navigating the messy middle, because I'm gonna have hard days. So it's just about really equipping myself with the tools of like the mindset work, the emotional intelligence work, which is just being able to name what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it, do the nervous system work of actually feeling the emotions, really taking care of myself, giving myself all of the things that I need to hold the hard. So for me, what really helps is taking care of my body a lot. Like if I eat really well, it's easier for me to be able to navigate my emotions. I don't have as many ups and downs. I'm more even keeled, especially if I go no sugar. I notice that when I eat sugar, my emotions are like this, like big peaks. But when I was off sugar for those 30 days, like the first 2 weeks, my emotions were still kind of crazy. But for the last 2 weeks, I felt very like just like my emotions were just, it was like a wave like this versus like peaks. So taking really good care of my body, soft things, baths, talking to people, asking for help. Like I was blowing up my coach's Voxer all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm going through this. Just like, I just like reaching out for the help. I felt crazy a lot. Just like, I know, this is not real. Just like all the help. Letting myself cry, journaling, all that kind of stuff really helps to like soothe me. Scents are really good for me. All of these things, breath work, tapping, like whatever tool was going to do it in the moment, I would ask, like, what do I need right now? Like, and I would try something and it was like, is this not working? I would try something else. And I just had these tools that I use to help myself navigate these things. And inside of my program, Educated, I give students an entire mindset vault where a lot of the tools that I use on a day-to-day basis to like move through this part of becoming who it is that you desire and achieving your goals, they have those tools in there that they can pick out and use whenever it is that they need. So hopefully that's the next phase that I'll be moving into. But right now I'm in owning my brilliance. So I'm like really being focused on setting these boundaries, following these boundaries that I have for myself, really doing self-worth work, which is what is the opposite of codependency. And again, for me, the way that it shows up is codependency of thought. So then the last piece of it is having and holding. This is where you actually get to celebrate yourself and really give yourself credit for what it is that you created. We're not there yet. I do give myself credit for the things that I'm doing right now, but we're not. And I'm celebrating the progress that I've made, but that's like the end. It's like the holding and the having of the actual goal itself when you reach there, or at least when you get to the emotion that you would have if you had it. I'm not there yet. I'm also the navigating the messy middle, getting clear on the process of become. That's kind of where I am. Those two phases sort of mesh together. They work together. It's not like you do one and then the other. They just kind of work hand in hand. So that's where I'm at right now, y'all. So what's coming up for me action wise, right? Because we're dealing all about the mindset stuff. I talked about that. So action wise, when it comes to like what I need to do, because we actually need to do things to achieve our goal. I need to tell people about Educated. I need to tell people that I'm an academic life coach. People need to know about me. I need to be out there and all this kind of thing. So I'm doing my biannual Your Best Semester Yet challenge. It's happening at the end of December 27th through the 31st. It's going to be so much fun. Claudia and I planned out a really fun event. There's going to be a ton of giveaways. It's going to be all brand new content. You're going to want to participate because the more you participate, the more chances you have to win things. And the things that we're giving away are super fun. Things that I use every day. It's gonna be fun. I'm really excited about it. And we're also going to be opening up the doors for Educated again during that week. So those are the things that are coming up to actually take action in the 3D world where things are created. The things that I'm going to be doing to actually help me to hit that goal, to reach that goal. And so that's what's going to be. There's a lot of moving parts with that new emails copy that I need to write. I'm going to be reaching out to some of my students already inside of Educated and seeing if they'll do video testimonials for me or written testimonials for me. So we have new testimonials to talk about that. But as you guys can see, my energy is very different today than it has been the past 8 weeks, right? My energy is different. Things are shifting. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And I wanted to show you guys in real time. And 2 weeks from now, I might be crying again. Who knows? This is just the process. I've learned to be with it, to embrace it. And I've learned that this is just what it looks like. This is why I have that path that I show you guys about the journey of becoming a good student. It's really the journey of becoming whatever it is that you desire. It's just for my particular program, I call it the journey of becoming a good student. And for me right now, it's a journey of becoming a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. That's my 3-year vision that I have. And this is where I'm at right now. And I want to share with you guys super real, super raw, so that you guys can see that I'm always doing the work, that I'm always walking my talk. That when it feels messy, it's also messy for other people who you think are successful and have it all together. Like behind the scenes, they're going through this stuff too, is that nobody talks about it, which is why it's so annoying, because then we create stories that if we're going through hard crap and if it doesn't look like how we think their life is going, that we're doing something wrong, when it's just that no one's sharing the messy middle. But I am right here, right now, doing that for you. So I will be back here again next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And this Thursday, we have another episode of She Rocks at College Live. And I'm going to be talking about the 5 things that successful students have mastered to become successful students. And so that's going to kick us off into Educated Month, which is the month of December. I'm going to be relaunching and opening the doors to this program. We're going to have 3 weeks leading up to the Your Best Semester Yet event. The doors will open. The students will come in. We'll have our live event that we've been having for the past 3 rounds of Educated. Where you'll come in for a weekend. We'll get you really all set up. Just a lot of good things. I'm really excited about it. I'm really happy to be towards the tail end of the pit of despair, because I hate being there and I know it's necessary, but it sucks. And I'm just like really happy to be where I am. I'm so appreciative of everything that I've learned about myself, because it's making me a better person, a better human, the best mom. How lucky is my daughter to have me? How lucky is she to have me? And also my husband, because of all the work that I do, because I'm going to just be a better woman for them. And I love that for me. And I love that for you guys too. Like, you guys are going to get the best version of me because I'm willing to do this work. It's like a win-win-win for everybody. A win for me, a win for you, a win for us. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.